Hi, welcome back to this channel. My name is Susan Silantoy, and as you know, the aim of this channel is to offer information about how government works and why systems are set up the way they are. This is with the intention for us to understand our role in the governance of this country, and through this, we can raise a politically empowered generation. All right, so thank you for tuning into the BBI series. This is the final episode of the BBI series, and in this episode we're going to cover the pros and the cons. Now we're going to do pros in relation to the Pro BBI team. What are the reasons they give for supporting the BBI? And we're going to do cons in relation to the anti-BBI team and why they're not supporting the BBI. So hopefully through this we can answer some questions that I didn't raise in the other videos, but as always, if you feel that there's something we've not answered, please comment on the comments and we'll see how to answer these questions. We can do an additional video if necessary. Let me know. All right, so let's start with the pros. Now, what are some of the benefits that is said we will have according to the BBI? What are these issues that people keep saying they support? So number one, the main thing that we have kept being told that the BBI is here to deal with is divisive elections. You know, elections that tend to be violent. That's what they're talking about. So they're saying that the BBI is here to deal with divisive elections. In fact, in the first video that we did, we talked about this process coming up as a result of the prolonged electioneering period in 2017, and so they were trying to deal with that. And some of the main ways that they try to deal with this is a bunch of ways. They talk about values of being Kenyan, of inclusivity. They also talk about additional seats in terms of reintroducing the leader of opposition role. They talk about the prime minister's role, the deputy prime minister, and we covered that in the second episode of the BBI series, which I will link in the description box if you want to go ahead and look at that. So that's the first one. They say that having the BBI will help us deal with divisive elections. Do you think that is the case? If you support this, please let me know why you think this is something that will come about if the BBI goes through. All right, secondly, the BBI has been fronted as something that is for the youth, in terms of, they say that there's good stuff for the youth in there. And there are three main proposals that are targeted towards the youth. The first one is a 7-year tax break for small enterprises, for youth businesses. The second one is the 4-year grace period for repaying HELB loans. HELB is the Higher Education Loans Board. And the third one is the formation of a youth commission. So for the tax break, I think that's straightforward. It just means that if it's a small business, if it's a youth business, you have 7 years a tax break where you don't have to pay taxes from the business. For the 4-year grace period, it just means when you finish uni, you're given 4 years to get a job, to find yourself, and then you can start paying the loan. And then thirdly, we have the creation of a youth commission. Now, out of these three proposals, the 7-year tax break and the HELB grace period is actually not in the constitutional amendment bill. So that means, I don't know if it'll come later or not, but it's not in the document that is being taken around for signatures. The formation of a youth commission sounds great, I think. However, there's not much difference between the formation of the youth commission and what we currently have, which is the National Youth Council. All right, so that's 2 points. The third point is the formation of a health service commission. So as you know, when devolution happened, healthcare was devolved, meaning that the health workers were employees of the counties. But the BBI is proposing to have a health service commission so that all health workers are employees of the national government. So they're employed and managed by the national government through the Ministry of Health instead of with the counties. Now, this can be a good thing because it can standardize all the conditions of health, all the needs of health workers. There were also complaints that when devolution was happening in the healthcare sector, it led to a lot of politicization of the sector, and therefore it made service delivery in some areas a little bit difficult. So yeah, that is something that is being proposed. However, this is actually not in the in the constitutional amendment bill, so I don't know if that will come later or before. So yeah, so that's the other thing that is not in the constitutional amendment bill. Okay, so the other one is the county ward development fund that people keep saying is a good thing. In the last episode, we actually covered this and talked about the advantages and disadvantages of having this fund. And yeah, that's also another thing that has been a major talking point, that is a good thing coming through the BBI. This also does not need a constitutional amendment, but it is within the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020, which is, every time I talk about the Constitutional Amendment Bill, it's that thing that people have been signing. Yes. Okay. And then the last issue is that the BBI is trying to address some loopholes that were in the Constitution. Loopholes such as the gender issue in Parliament, the 2/3 gender rule that was in Parliament. So that's one of the things that the BBI is trying to address. How can this be implemented in a better way, and how can it be achieved? I think sorting out loopholes is a good thing, I guess. All right, so I've picked out like 5 main pros. If there are other pros that I've missed out, please comment down on the description box below. Tell me what other pros have you seen that the BBI is bringing. Give me reasons for it if you think, for anyone else to understand. And if you'd like, we can do one more video about this. So yeah, let me know. So those are the pros. Now let's get into the cons. I know this is what you're waiting for, right? Okay, so the anti-BBI team has raised a couple of issues. Actually, I should probably clarify that if you're against the BBI, it doesn't mean you're supporting any particular politician. If you're also pro the BBI, it doesn't also mean that you're supporting any particular politician. It's fine to just have your own opinion. Okay, so guys who have spoken out about the BBI have talked about several things, and I will mention 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll mention a couple of them, about 5 of them. Okay, so the guys who've talked about reasons why they're not supporting the BBI have mentioned a number of reasons. So I'll point out like just about 5. The first one is the BBI is proposing to amend 14 of the 18 chapters of the Constitution. 14 of the 18 chapters of the Constitution. That's a lot. And what they're talking about is it could be confusing for voters. It seems like a whole new constitution. So that's one issue that has been raised. The amendments are very many and it can be confusing. Another issue that they've raised is that even before we amend the constitution, the 2010 constitution has not been fully implemented. We've seen, even when you're talking about the 2/3 gender rule, it doesn't only apply to parliament, it applies to public institutions. And even through appointments, we've seen this not being done. For example, when the president appoints the cabinet, he is supposed to have a cabinet that has a 2/3 gender rule that applies. And as we speak, the cabinet does not meet this threshold. So already, the people who are raising an issue against the BBI are saying, if this is not being implemented currently, what makes us think that if we have any amendments, it will be implemented? That's an issue that has been raised. The other thing is we've seen court orders being ignored, and we've seen, even advice from the Chief Justice also being ignored about Parliament and how Parliament is unconstitutional and therefore cannot be functioning. So Parliament is kind of illegal right now. So that's the second issue, that the 2010 constitution has not been fully implemented. What makes us think this other thing will be implemented? All right, the third one. Some people have raised an issue with how much power the BBI gives the presidency in terms of just the manner of appointment of key figures. Yeah, so it's through the manner of appointment, basically. And there is an issue with how, the appointment of the judicial ombudsman, who we've talked about in a previous video, which I will link down below, and that having an issue with the independence of the judiciary. They've also talked about the Police Service Commission and how the head of this commission is going to be appointed by the president, and how that could also pose a little bit of a threat. We've also talked about the appointment of prime ministers and deputy prime ministers, and their dismissal as well is done solely by the president and can be done at the president's will. So that also poses a little bit of a threat in that direction, and that's one of the reasons why some people are not supporting the BBI. All right, now let's go to the next point, the fourth one. The number of legislators, number of MPs and senators, according to the BBI, will go up. Already we have about 290 constituencies. The BBI is proposing to have 360. The women rep seat was not scrapped, so we'll have another 47 women representatives. Then we will have 94 senators instead of 47, meaning there will be 2 senators per county. That again is also another issue that has been raised. So the people who are opposing it are saying that already the wage bill, like ile pesa tunalipa watu ni nyingi sana. So even continuing to add more may not be necessarily useful, and yeah, that's one of the reasons they're opposing it. And lastly, the other reason that some of the people are not supporting the BBI is it's been raised that, was this process constitutional in terms of how it was organized from the beginning until what we have now that people are signing all the way up to the referendum? Has this process been constitutional? Is it a valid process? And some of the things, one of the main things that has been raised about it is, up to date, we still don't have any official documentation about how much was spent on this entire process, how much was paid to the task force that was leading this process, how much was used to facilitate all the meetings that they had in all the 47 counties, with all the people that they met. We don't know how much that cost. We still don't know how much it will cost up to now. We know that the IEBC has raised that we'll spend about 14 billion on a referendum. That's probably the only official figure that has been put out. And yeah, so this, people are saying that the people who are anti-BBI are saying that this process might not actually be constitutional. Yeah, so those are I think the main issues of contention. If you also don't support the BBI, let me know why you don't support it. If it's the process, if it's a specific suggestion, I'd love to hear why you're not supporting it. Again, even if you're supporting it, let me also know, and then we can have a discussion in the comment section below. So I just want to clarify that this is, I think it's important for us to pay attention to this. Our constitution is being changed. So imagine we need to pay attention. I don't think this is a time to ignore this. So it would be nice. Let's engage. If you need more information, please comment down below and let me know. If you want us to do another video, please also let me know. And if you have a specific question about something to do with the BBI, let me know in the comments below. So yeah, this has been the BBI series. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me feedback about what you thought. And yeah, until next time, I don't know when you'll be watching this, so if you watch it before Christmas, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope 2021 will definitely be better. Yeah, so see you next time, guys. Bye.